Welcome to the MLB Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by my guys, Mo Nawara in the Midwest. We got Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. We are looking at a full, robust Tuesday night slate here. Only one day game, I believe. So we will be having plenty to choose from here as we are continuing to bring you these night and evening games. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. Continue to follow along with us each and every weekday of this MLB regular season. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or a DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com. Find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for Tuesday's slate. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, after that, only the A's are playing in the afternoon. Then we get into Dodgers minus 230 at the Pirates, Brewers minus 200 at Reds, Yanks are minus 150 at home against the Blue Jays, Braves minus 130 at home against the Red Sox. The Twins are underdogs plus 125 as they host Verlander and the Stros. Royals plus 120 at Texas, Cleveland plus 150 at the White Sox, the Rays minus 115 at Angels, Marlins in a toss-up at Arizona, Phillies toss-up at Mariners, interesting matchup there, Nola versus Robbie Ray, and then the Giants are big favorites minus 180 as they're on top of the Rockies right now and looking to get some more there in the division. We open, though, with that intriguing matchup in Minnesota. Justin Verlander versus Joe Ryan, and couldn't be further ends of their career, but kind of similar pitchers in terms of their attack. And I mean, it's been impressive for Joe Ryan now, I think, at 10 career starts, 5 in his rookie year, but still technically a rookie, as Mo will remind you with his futures bet down on this guy for Rookie of the Year. Like Verlander, high called swinging strike rate, limiting hard contact. And he's already shown some growth in terms of pitching in high leverage situations, stranding 91% of his runners in these 5 starts this year. That was something he struggled with a little bit after getting called up last year. We know what Verlander is bringing to the table in terms of managing any situation. He has a .9 ERA in 20 innings on the road now this season, holding batters to a 190 weighted on base average on the road. His whiff rate is kind of declining already, though. These last 3, 7.3 K per 9 ratio. Batters are starting to make a lot more contact on his slider on pitches outside the zone. We're talking a 75% contact rate. So maybe it's the first signs of slippage for Verlander. So I think if you want a value bet on the money line, you can go with the Twins here. I kind of just like the under early. I think both these guys will be solid in their starts. Under 3.5 runs is minus 140. Not the greatest juice there, but we're looking at 6.5 runs for the game. I don't really hate that either, since Byron Buxton's also dealing with an injury too, right? So this Twins offense might not be at full strength.
Yeah, you hit on a couple interesting aspects of this game for sure. First of all, yeah, on the surface, Verlander has been as awesome as always. Didn't even miss a beat when he came back. 1.93 ERA. His estimators are south of 3. You would think he's just doing his normal thing, but he's kind of not. And I'm a little worried some worse things are coming down the road. I'm not saying he's like pitching horrible or anything, and his numbers are going to collapse, but I just don't think he's going to maintain anything near this level of play with a 9.7% swinging strike rate. I mean, that's not very good. And I think there's kind of a limit to how good you can be when you're not really missing bats reliably. On the other hand, Joe Ryan has been just incredible so far. I mean, you're right that these guys are kind of similar. I mean, 2 right-handers, different velocity bands, Verlander throwing much harder, but 2 right-handers who really, really work off their sliders. Ryan's has been awesome so far. And my main concern here, I really like the Twins when I'm looking at plus 125, and I think they have a better pitcher on the mound potentially here, but at the very least close. But you hit on my big concern here is I don't know if I can trust this Twins offense without Byron Buxton. Sounds like he's maybe a coin flip to play. So if you want to be aggressive and gamble, I think a wager on the Twins is fine, but just know that there's a possibility you're going to turn on the TV tomorrow night and see something called Celestino and Nick Gordon in the lineup. These guys do not belong anywhere near a major league lineup. So if this is what they end up trotting out, then I guess I can kind of see why the Astros are decent favorites here.
Yeah, and that's why maybe you do consider the total if you do believe in Verlander to the extent. I mean he's standing up boldly to this point in the season, as we've sort of hinted at it already. There's serious consideration if you think he has any the ability to get out there for about 160 170 innings this year, which I think he can get to at this rate. He does have some decent odds for that AL Cy Young as well, so just something to consider. But let's move it to Boston. They are headed to Atlanta. Nate, struggling are the kids from Boston right now, 10-19 on the season. Atlanta is minus 130 in this one. Considering the under here, total is at 7.5 runs, minus 110 both ways. Garrett Whitlock and Kyle Wright, a couple guys that have looked really, really good this year. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to start things off here as your team is taking on Mo's team technically right now.
Yeah, I think under is the play here, honestly. It's good, minus 104 here at FanDuel. That Red Sox bullpen has been a disaster per usual, as they continue to get slammed for not paying for any arms to close out games. Lost 7 of their last 8. At least 2 of those are classical blown saves, including Whitlock's last start, which was a solid one against the Angels, but sure enough, they gave up 1 in the 9th and then I think 6 in the 10th to put the death knell there. I don't think we're going to get that kind of late explosion here. And with Kyle Wright on the mound, I don't think this Red Sox offense is really going to get on track. They're 28th in runs now and really just not clutch at all. Their secondary average is second worst in the majors, 4th highest strand rate, 2nd lowest walk rate. And Kyle Wright's not really walking anybody. He's coming right after people and striking out a ton of righties. And so aside from those few dangerous lefties that Boston has there, I expect Wright to go 6-7 innings here, give the Braves the lead early. And even if Whitlock goes 4 or 5 strong, I just don't really trust the middle relief for Boston. So I think at minus 130, it's worth taking the Braves at home.
Yeah, these arms are really interesting. It's actually funny, how you said, Boston's getting slammed for not getting any relievers in. Well, they had a great reliever. The problem is he's starting this game. So they kind of gutted their own bullpen there. I definitely understand why they did it. I mean, Whitlock's been great so far since they stretched him out. Whitlock and Wright are just 2, I think, still underrated arms. 2 guys who are pitching at a top 10 level right now, honestly, maybe top 5. Like these guys are like sub 2 ERA with like estimators that are saying this is not crazy. But yeah, I do think the line is like pretty fair just because I do give a little bit of an edge to Wright because of his length. Like you said, he can just go a little longer. I don't think Whitlock's ready to go 6 or 7 innings yet, unless he's being insanely efficient. And yeah, it's just 2 really good arms and 2 offenses that are honestly struggling and not performing to their talent levels. Braves 18th in WRC plus, Boston 28th. I think it's probably safe to say everyone expected these to be 2 top 10 offenses. So yeah, just not performing up to their standards so far. We don't even know if Acuna is going to play. I mean, he kind of seems to be in and out of the lineup. Yeah, if you want to be a nit, I think firing first 5 under is fine. Or if you want to be a little more aggressive, I think the game under is good too. The only thing I'd be worried about is what you said, Nate. It's just the Boston middle relief is really my only concern there.
Yeah, I would concur. And like you said, the problem is that they're the guy who's made 4 really, really strong starts or relief appearances for them, and Whitlock is taking the mound. I think he's still good for 5 at this point. His numbers are incredible right now too. As you mentioned, 12 to 1 K per walk per 9 essentially for him right now, which is just wild. And he is getting, even in those relief, appearances, getting 2 to 3 innings there as well when needed. Right on his own, in his own right. I did not even mean to do that, I swear. 53% ground ball in 5 starts without actually a great defense playing for him specifically. The Braves are struggling a little bit in the field behind him. 301 BABIP for him. I mean, I think he's going to pitch pretty well against the righties in that Red Sox lineup that they're probably going to be throwing out there and relying on for him against right in this one. So I think an under is a good play, but I would also fear that that Boston relief if Whitlock is only able to go that 4 or 5. So let's cap things off here with a game in Texas. The Royals visiting the Rangers. The Royals sitting at plus 120. We have a total of 8 runs. Brad Keller and Martin Perez. What are we thinking here, Mo, for this one?
Definitely looking at the Royals here. I just can't get behind Martin Perez being a minus 140 favorite. Unless they're not playing the Reds here. So, even though the Reds are starting to win a few games, but yeah, Martin Perez, he's absolutely killing it so far. I see no reason that that's going to continue, rocking a nice little 2.25 ERA. But I mean, we have 10 years of evidence that Martin Perez is a subpar pitcher. All the computers think he's going to be not too much better than a replacement level arm. Even when I bump him up above that a little bit to give him credit for a little bit of the way he's pitching so far, like he does have a 4.0 Sierra, which is like, that's solid, but I mean, there's just no history of him maintaining anything close to this level of play. So I just don't anticipate it's going to continue. And Brad Keller, he's been relatively solid. He's been lucky as well, but I just think these are 2 arms that are in the same ballpark, basically, and 2 offenses that are in the same ballpark. And the Royals definitely have the bullpen advantage. So I just don't see how the Rangers can be minus 140 here.
Yeah, we said Perez, maybe he's one of those guys who's benefiting from the weighted baseball, and that's why he's been able to avoid trouble so far. But the Royals are kind of that scrappy team that is going to find holes in your infield. They're not necessarily going to slug you out of the park. And you start with their leadoff guy, right? Whit Merrifield, who's 8 for 21 career against Perez and matches up well. They hit 261 with a 723 OPS against lefties last season. He has a 6.2 ERA his last 7 starts against them. Perez does. And yeah, I think we trust Brad Keller a lot more. His ability to limit hard contact this year seems more sustainable in the sense that he's getting a lot of swings outside the zone, weaker contact, and seems to have figured out how to pitch to lefties a little bit better. That 22% K rate and a 146 batting average against definitely bodes well when you go up against this Rangers lineup where the most dangerous bats are left-handed.
Yeah, this is the name of the game. Loving to be able to get ahead of what we believe, it is a sort of misrepresented line here with Martin Perez not being someone that you believe in, although he's sort of fooling people at this point, and it's nice to be able to think we can get ahead of that. What we do think is the inevitably coming there and get a nice plus line there for the Royals. So that is all the time we have for you guys in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. Continue to follow along with us each and every weekday of this MLB regular season. And until we see you next, happy betting.